Okay, so today we are going to discuss our talk on the Python's function. So let's understand whenever you are going to write the code, generally in the Python file, you are writing whatever the lines of code you are writing, okay? That you understand and you write the code. And functionally, whenever you are writing code, you want to meet some specific requirement, AI specific questions you are going to the solve from this set of lines. Okay, so whenever someone going to read the code, that's very hard to understand what the set of lines do. So is it not a good way, whatever this set of lines of code you written, can we give the logical name? Hey, this is the code for calculating sum, getting the age, or calculating interest, something. Because those the state of line, if some developer we carefully read this line and understand the business logic, then can they figure out, hey, this is the line of code for calculating interest, right? So functions is an opportunity or is a way where you can give the logical name for your set block of code. So block of code you written and you want to give this block of code is the for a specific purpose, calculating length, calculating area. This is the function A, function B, function B. So that is known as a function. Excuse me. But first benefit, that means ki whatever the block of code you written, whatever the block of code you written, okay, and you are going to give the your logical name. Hey, this is the block of code for xyz purpose, one thing. And whenever this xyz code you want to use another place in the program or another place in the your software, okay, so you can not going to write again this block of code, again this block of code. Just use this function. Hey, I want to this function here, I want to this function here, okay. So functions also increase your code readability. So any developer can read the function name and they can understand, oh, this is the block of code for this purpose. And same block of code you want to use the different place, you don't need to write again the block of code, again the block of code. Let's say another file or Python file, you want to same functionality in this place, so you are not going to write the same block of code. Just you use your function name. Hey, this is my function I already written, I am going to use. Okay, so your block of codes now are going to more reusable code that can be used the different places, module or Python file where you want. So you can say code reusability. Instead of writing same code multiple place, it's very hard to manage in the future. So functions avoid code duplications. Same code you're not going to write this place, same code you're not going to write the this place, same code you're not going to write the multiple places. Okay. So what's the problem if you are going to write the same code in 10 places? Let's in future your requirement change, you are going to change this place, going to change this place, going to change this place. Okay, so this is the unnecessary work, and might be you are use this code in the fourth places. Okay, some developer know, I say this code is written here, this code is written here, so they can change, but somehow if they miss to changing the specific scenario, specific cases. So in your production, a customer can raise the defect. That means your system is not behaving as per expected. They are not consistent behavior. So this is the very principle, simple principle. You can avoid the duplicate line of code. Just write one place and you can use across your modules or Python file. So that help us multiple. The function help us multiple case. First, increase your code readability. Your code can be same code can be used in multiple places, and you are avoiding the duplicate code. Okay, so let's talk how we can achieve this function concept. So one thing, this function is terminology used from the mathematics. Notice you have mathematics. If a function take x input, they can return x plus 100. Okay? So this is the basic mathematics syntax of your function. In the mathematics, we have understood the same. The mathematics concept here implemented in the Python. Okay, so you have a right one function name, and this is the parenthesis. Parenthesis can take some input parameter. What the function is required to perform. This is the business logic. They want to perform plus 100. They need the input. So some function can require input. Okay, and once input done, they have do some calculation and return the output. Okay, so these are the basic rules. You have a function name and the parenthesis and your block of code. What the code you want to write? This is a block of code. If you want to return some value, you can say I want to return this value. Okay, so this is your function name. This is your parenthesis, and here might be your function sometime take input, sometime cannot take input. So this is the optional field. You can pass the parameter or you can skip, and your function body, whatever the codes you are want to return. And if you want to return some value, you have to mention return. So function is nothing new. This is the very basics of your mathematics. Same things here we can use. So let's Python. A function is a block of code. Just nothing. You have written some line of code. This is known as a one block. This code can be executed multiple times from the different part of your code. So might be you have your bigger software, and here in the particular use case 1, particular use case 2, particular use case 3, particular use case 4. 4 places you want to execute this line of code. So instead of writing 4 places this code, you can just write one place, give your function name. This function name you can use this place, this place, this place, and this place. So now your block of code can going to reuse multiple places where you want. So functions are used to organize the code, reduce the repetition, and make program more modular and reusable. So these are terminology we have to discuss. So function make your code is very organized way. Means ki that is the very common terminology. Let's say you are in a house, you are need to put lots of item in a house, so you are putting proper place, organizing, so later part we can use properly. Okay, so they are very organizing your code. Reduce the repetition. So here say ki same code you are not going to write multiple place. So this is the also principle to be carefully aware. We are as a software engineer, we are not going to write same code again. Just write once and used many places where you want. And here say make more modular and reusable component. If you are writing one modules, okay, and this is your function name, this is your function name, this function can be used the different part of your components. You can say this is the reusable component. Even your program can need or the you make a library, this library can be used by another program software use cases. So functions is the one way to organize your code that can be reusable and that avoid the duplication or repetition. So function is a block of code which only run when it's called. Question is that whenever you are written the block of code, okay, whenever you written the block of code, okay, block of code. So by default till now, whatever we studied, whenever writing code and we running the program, this code is going to execute. But the function is not the case. If you writing a one function, you written one function, okay, and this is a block of code. This code, whenever you are, let's you write in a Python file in the function and code, and whenever you're going to run this file, this code is not going to execute until you especially say, hey, I want to run this function, okay, function one, I want. So until you are not telling the Python interpreter, hey, now this place I want to run this function. So only this moment the particular function code going to execute. Okay, we'll talk. And even you can pass data known as a parameter into the function. Okay, whatever the function writing, this is the variable name here you write. If function takes some input, this input name is a parameter. Okay, and function can return value. Once they are done his execution, they can return some value as well. So these are the key point about the function. Okay, so let us here you write the like print hello. Okay, so whenever you're writing this code, whenever run, this code always run. Okay, but you are writing this code in a function. Okay, so state hello one print hello two. So this will always run. Okay, whenever run program, this code is going to run. Okay, but this is not in the case of function. If you write the function, if you run, this is not going to run because you have to call them. You have to tell them, hey, let's here you run one time, two time, three time, multiple places. Okay. So whatever the why use function, now it's clear. Code reusability. That means the block of code you written once times, and this block of code can be used the place one, place two, place three, place four. So function allow to write code once and use it multiple times, reduce code duplication. This is the benefit. Modularity. Function help break down the large program into the smaller, manageable chunk, making it easier to understand and maintain. So whenever you are going to write the particular function use case, particular requirement, and once you decided going to writing requirement one, requirement two, requirement three, requirement four, requirement, all the requirement you written, a later part you identify that the code is so big, this is very unmanageable, very hard to read and understand. So what the logical you are going to break here, this is the three line related, let's write one function. This is related to a specific use case, let's write this function. Okay, so instead of writing a bigger line of code, you have to write the chunk of code and give the logical meaning name so the developer can easily understand, oh, this three line of code for this purpose, this three line code for this purpose, this colon for this. So instead whole program written directly, you have to write separate function. Why? Because this is very easy to understand and in future very easy to maintain. So they are function help us to increase the modularity and also readability. If you writing complete 100 line of code, so only developer read multiple times and then they can understand, hey, this code is for this purpose. But you write the small functions, and you can read the function name and understand key what the function doing. Overall, the meaning is function. This is the set of line of code you written. Okay. Now your intention, you give the logical name so that if someone read the function name, they can understand this function is doing this. That means your code readability going to increase. So function can improve the code readability by providing a clear and concise way to perform a specific task. So whatever the code writing, the code must be clear once someone read your function name. And also it helps us the debugging function, make it easier to debug the code. You can test an individual function independently. Okay. So these are the some benefits, the reason why we are going to choose write code in a functions. Increase the code readability, increase the modularity, avoid the duplicate code reusability. These are the reasons in why due to that all the software programming language support functions concept. So let's think how we can write a function. In the Python, what the structures of the function would be. So very simple, you have used the one keyword def. Def is the keyword used to define a function. Okay, the def is the keyword. So what is the keyword? Keyword the specific reserved words that Python interpreter know the meaning. Okay, so use the def keyword and your function name very descriptive. Okay, and the parenthesis. Okay, and after the parameter that means the your input might be your function takes some input to perform the, and this is your function body. Okay, and if the function want to sub return, then you can use the return keyword to the return. Function name is the name of function. Parameter, the list of variable that input. So input can be one value or two value or three value. This is they contain the list of variables. A function body is the actual block of code you want to execute. Okay, so let us write. So here say we are going to write the one function, means I am going to define the function type. Maybe uh, uh, say message, say say messages, and okay. And this is the symbol here is the block. Here you can specify the block of code print and hello. In this way code you are written a function. Just your definition def keyword, your function name say message, and open and close parenthesis, maybe take input, maybe not take input, and your block of code. Block of code is start from colon, and this is the block of code. Okay, and whenever you run, you are not getting any output because you have defined a function, but function is not used. So we have two things in a now in the function. First things you are going to define the function, give the definition of the function. This is the function contains something. Okay, but this function is just defined here. Really you want to use them, then you can say yes, I want to use this function. I want to use this function. Then you can say you can call them function, or you can use them function, or you can invoke them function. So by default nature, whenever you are writing any functions, whenever you run the file, they are not going to execute, because just you have given the definition, hey, this is the function, but we're not telling, hey, let's execute them, let's run them. So here is the concept. You are saying, okay, now I am going to use them. So here say message. So once you they say message, now compiler know I have to say the message. You again say message, again it will say message. So now this code you are going to reuse again and again. So you want to, let's say, define a function, say take some input parameter. So here say this is the my another function. You can say def say underscore greet, as just a greet method, greet, and they take some input, maybe uh, input, okay, input, yeah, message, uh, name. Let's take the name, okay, and start the, say print, and you can say hello and the name, whatever the name you have. So here, if you run this code, this greet message not, because they have just defined them. How to use them? I can say, hey, out of block code, you can say greet greet John, John, okay, and you can run them. So notice, hello John. You can say hey Tommy, okay, hello Tommy. So you can say. So now you are using the function. Okay. Okay. So here we are defining function 1, we are defining function 2. Okay, this function is the def means given the definition of these two functions. Now in this place you are going to say I am going to use them, I am going to use them. Here you say two time use, here two times use. So there are two part in the function. One is the function definition, another is the function use. Define function and use the function, define function and use function, right? And function can be take no input parameter or can take input parameter, can take one input parameter, two input parameter, fixed. There is a no hard and fixed rule. Okay, we're going to talk more detail, but this is the basic syntax of any function. You can define the function and you can invoke the function. Similarly, in the case of variable, right, we have to define the variable and then can use the variable. Okay, similarly, we know here you can say uh, a equal to 20. So you can define the variable and you can say print a. Here you can use the variable. The same thing, this is not any new thing. Okay, same here, but here by default the code is actually here define the variable and using. They are always execute. Okay, but the functions just to define, they are not always used until you are not telling, hey, I am using here, I am using here, I am using here. Whatever the place you want, this function can be used. Okay, so these are the basics structures of Python, how to define a function. Just def keyword, your function name, your input parameter, colon and your body of code. And if you want to return some value, you pass the return. Sometime you don't want to give any body, then you can say pass and time. So later you define a function this. At a time you don't know what the code I'm going to write. So if you just skip the blank here and you are trying to run, it's a very exception. So here say, okay, no problem. I just give the as of now pass. Just an empty body. There is a later part. I am going to give the definition of this say message. So pass the keyword used to make the empty body of the function, the loop, or the if condition, or the while conditions. For the place, the pass note is the keywords in the Python that help us to make the empty body. Okay. Good. So let's understand. We understand how to create a function. Just use the def keyword. You are the defining the def keyword and give the function name and parenthesis for input parameter and your message. Just clear. And once you define function, how to call them, you define the function. This is the function name and here, but these code are not executed until someone say, hey, I am going to call this function. While calling, you have to function name and your bracket. Bracket means here, if one input, you have to pass one input. You have no input, you can pass no input. So let's talk about the argument. What are the arguments? The information can be passed into the function is the call argument. So whenever you define function, let's you define function here, you define function. Now you are going to use them. You are going to use them. So whenever you are going to use them, you have to pass some value. Okay. So this input value you can say as an argument. So argument is the information you can pass into the function. So while defining, you give the variable name. This is known as a parameter. And while use, you are passing the value, you can use the argument. So argument are specified after the function name and inside the parenthesis. So always your function name and what the value you passing, like 5, like 7. This is the true or the argument. So use a function name, parenthesis, and the value. Okay, and you can add as many as arguments you want in the just separate by the comma. Okay, so comma is used to separation. So let us write code. So here say I am going to defining a function sum. This will take a two input parameter x and y. The comma is used to define, here say print x comma y. Okay, and you can say return result equal to x plus y. I can say return result. Okay. This is the way you can write the some numbers, some num. Okay, you are given. So this is the function you written. Okay, but if you run, they are not doing anything because you just define the function. That will take a two input parameter. So this is the input parameter. Okay, x y. This is the variable, and let's here now we are going to use this function. Let's say, hey, I have a variable a equal to 10. We have a variable equal to 30. Now I want to get the sum equal to. So I can say, hey, I already have a function to calculate sum. So I can say sum, and we have a variable and b variable, and you can say print a sum equal to comma yes. Okay, just code format. Okay, and here you can just run them. Okay, so you are getting the two input. This is the inside the function, you can say. Inside function, inside function, inside function, comma x and comma y. The inside function you have two input, and this is the use function. Use function, it will take a two. So this is the way you are going to defining function. Here you are given the definition of the function. You given the definition of the function. This is the my definition. This is the sum number function. They got two input parameter x and input parameter y. And once someone use them, this the function body they do. What they are doing do? They are printing the input. They are doing the sum and returning the value. Okay, so now in the place where you are going to use this variable, this is the place where you are going to use. So here, okay, hey, I am going to use this function. They take a two input parameter. So this is the parameter A and this is the parameter B. So here this A and B variable considered as your argument. Here X and Y variable considered as a parameter. Okay, so here whenever function going to use and whatever the variable passed in the comma separated known as arguments, and what while defining the function whatever the variable name you are using x and y, this is the known as a input parameter. Is it clear? This is the input parameter and this is the input argument. That means whenever you going to use function at that time argument, whenever you defining function at that time parameters, the variable name which are using. Okay, so hope it is the clear. So you can this the function you are going to use. This is your argument. This is your parameter. So again, same question, parameters are argument. So the term parameters and argument can be used the same thing, but informations passed to the function. So here a parameter is a variable that listed inside the parenthesis while defining the function. Whenever giving the definition and whatever the inside the parenthesis you part, this is known as a parameter. And argument is just the value. So you send to the function when you called. Whenever a function going to use at that time argument, whenever going to function defining at that time parameter. So same definition. This is the parameter. This is the argument. Parameters are the variable that are defining inside the function definition. Arguments are the value that are passed when the function is going to the call. So here name and age are the parameters, comma separated. Okay, here whenever you're going to call greet function, you can pass John's and 30. These are the arguments. Okay, so here you can say whenever you are defining the parameter inside, they are say expected input function. That is, parameters are expected input for a function. Arguments are actual value you are providing to the function. Here input, that means expecting someone pass the input parameter. Arguments are actual value you are going to the pass when you are going to the call the functions. Okay, so here the number of arguments. So whenever you are going to pass the function, let's you pass only one argument. So is it okay? If you run, they are say, hey, missing required positional argument. That means this function the input functions here are expecting anyone can going to call the sum num function. I'm expecting two input parameter. But while using, you are just passing me only one actual. So they are not happy. So first definition, whatever the parameter list of function definition given, same you are going to use, then you have to pass the same number of value. Let's say so 1 2 3, you have to pass 1 comma 2 comma 3 value. Their exact match should be right. So due to that, they are not a happy. Compiler Python interpreter say, hey, you cannot invoke this function because you are not missing the some parameter. Okay, so you have to pass again the next value. If you want to clean it, then you have to pass that some number. So here notice you have to pass any variable or any actual value. There is no any hard and fast rule. You can create variable and then pass. Even you can pass anything. Notice here a is 20 a plus 89, they return 109. So here while using the function or calling the function, you have to pass some variable or actual value directly. You can pass. Both are happy. So this is a rule for the number of argument. So by default, a function must be called with the correct number of argument. The meaning, if your function expecting two argument, you have to call with the two argument. Like here, functions first name and last name. So whenever someone going to call my function, they are always for first name and last name. If you're only passing the first name and not passing the last name, your Python interpreter throw error. Hey, I'm not happy. So default rule, whatever the number of parameter functions define while using the same number of parameter argument you have to pass. Okay. So let's sometime I want a kind of relaxation. Whenever I'm going to call this function, I don't know कि I pass one value or two value or three value. I don't know. But as a function definition, while defining, I want to provide such behavior. Hey customer, you call my function. Don't worry, you just pass one value. It's okay. Maybe you pass one comma two. It's also okay. So somehow, while defining function, we can, as a developer, can give the relaxation or benefits. So that is known as a arbitrary argument. That means if you don't know how many parameter that will pass to your function, you can use the asterisk before the parameter name in the function definition. So while defining function, you have option, you can tell, hey, this my input parameter can be arbitrary or inputs. Okay, so this way a function will receive the tuples of argument and can be accessed item directly. So let us example here. Okay, so here I'm same function. I'm say, hey, instead of two variable, I can just say, hey, it is just one, and I can simply say asterisk. Okay, and just simply say my function inside my function input is just x. Okay, and here say I just return. Okay, I just comment out, just return one. Okay, so what the things whenever you are going to the call this function, now it will take only one argument, still work, but here I can pass the two argument. So let's I pass here one more argument 9. So it still works. So notice our sum function pass one argument, two argument, three argument, but still function is happy because now you can say strict. That means they are considered internally as a collections or tuple. So whatever these three value you are passing these three value here. This is the x input are going to the pointing this kind of a tuple, and you can here you can read this value, here you can read this value, here you can read this value. Okay, so how we are going to read, and I want to calculate. So I want to calculate sum of 1 2 3 4 number of argument. Okay, so let's here you print this is the your, notice the symbol tuple. So you know how to read tuple, how to write tuple, how to add tuple. So here you can say have it receive, notice here receive three value, just sum them and return. So how to sum them? So whenever you are receiving the tuple, that means collections of value. Okay, so here notice we have a collections of value. Here you can say 20 and 8 and 9. I want to perform sum, so I have to take one sum variable and first take one and sum them, another take and sum them, 20 28 plus again the take and sum them, then 30 9 30. Okay, in this way we can. So let's perform this logic. So here you are going to say I am going to, for let's one variable, it is sorry, sum initially 0. Okay, and I can for each element I can take one number in our, here you could say instead of x, tuples input, tuples tuple tuple input. Okay, this is my, this is my tuple input. Okay, okay, I here can say in the tuple inputs, and here say whatever the input equal to just plus your number. Okay, and here you can say just return s. So in this way you can do. So now notice you are returning the 37 plus. So what you are doing, you are taking one variable, and in this tuples collection you take one input and plus them, next input plus them, next input plus them. So if you want to, let's print here, yes you can print them. That's for understanding. Print your yes s equal to comma yes comma number equal to comma number, and you can give the details. So here your s equal to 20 and just plus them 20, then n become 8, then just write n just for understanding, s or s. Okay, and print them. So you take first 20 20 and 20, and initially s start 0, the 0 plus 20 is equal to 20. Again you take 8, 8 plus 20 become 28. Again you get 9 9, 9 plus 28 you got 37. In this case our function can take any number of input, 6 2 5, whatever the number of. Now your function is taking input as a tuple, and you can give. Okay, so notice they are summing all the things. So this is known as a arbitrary input. Sometime you are allow function can be used with the x number of argument, one number argument, or two number of argument you can do. Okay, so here when you pass a variable, b variable, you will pass p. This is okay. Okay, good format. Okay, and you can. So sometime you are going to define function. Now you have defined the sum function. Even you don't know the sum function work for one argument, two argument, three argument. Let's say pass only one argument. It works. Okay, and you can say print, and even print print you can say sum I want to just 1 comma 2 sum. Okay, you can say hey, I want sum 1 comma 2 comma 3 sum. You want to sum, so you can 3 comma 4 you can take. So now your function is performing sum for the different 1 2 3 4 sum, 1 2 3 sum, 1 2 sum. So in this way you are defining the function that can be used to summing any number of argument. Here you can pass 2 argument, 3 argument, 4 argument, 5 argument. It should work, right? So this is the arbitrary argument. So here you can just place star and now it's become a tuple. And from tuple you can access, already we know how to access the tuple, read the tuple, everything do. And now you can get the value. Okay. So this is the concept of the keyword argument. So whenever you send argument, whenever I go to the call function here, generally I pass the value. But it is also possible you can send value like key and value syntax. You can say, hey, this is the A equal to 5 and B equal to C in this. So this is the while the sending value, actual value to the function as an argument, we have option to send the key and value concept. So we can also give us, okay. So let us so here let's define the function. Define function f name is this take first name and last name. Okay, this is the function take, and just let's print first name comma last name. Okay, just they are printing. Okay, if you run it will, there is no error right now. If I define this function, going to use them, call first name, and you can say here uh, uh, Puja comma Miss. Okay, so if you run, it will works. So sometime whenever someone going to the call, this is not understand this is the first name or this is not last name. So even you can say, hey, I'm going to call this function. Here I can say, hey, this is the my last name equal to Ram, and first name equal to here just say function name names. Okay, they are confused with the f name. It's just name. Okay, okay, here and here say Sam. Okay. So here we have options. Here while this giving, we are assuming always this is the first name and this is the last name. But if we have a last number of argument, here notice you pass this variable first, and so now you have a flexible, you not always pass the value in the same order. Okay, so here say this is my function, take a two argument, first name and last name. Okay, so whenever going to call, you always pass the first name and then last name. This is always first name, this is the last name. But here you say first name you can pass here and last name you can pass here. So now in the case of key value terms, whatever the first you want in any order you can say. So here there is no any order, but you just tell the name, hey, this is the first my last name, this is the my first name. So you can use this parameter name as a key and actual value as a value. So here say key and equal to value. In this fashion you can call argument, the key represent your name of the parameter, value your actual argument. So here key means your parameter name and v means an actual value. So in any order there is no any things. If you pass like here, say same code you pass like here, and you just say, hey, you just and you can pass here. Okay, so in this case, this is the give the This considers a first name. This is not first name, but this is not this first name because by default they understand the same order you are passing. But here you can choose your order, which variable you want to pass. The key value argument give the option to the developer or the function user, they can pass the input in any argument. There is no any problem. Okay. And even here also you can concept of arbitrary keyword. If you want, maybe here our someone pass the key value and any number of key value argument, so you can use the double streak. Okay, so whenever you are going to the pass key and value kind of a concept, and this is the multiple argument you are pass arbitrary, then you can use the double star. So you can say if you do not know how many key argument you someone going to the pass to function, add the two asterisk before the parameter name, so this will allow to receive the dictionary in the case of math. So whenever you say this is the dictionary kind of a key value concept, key value, we already discussed the whenever you are consider key and the value, again key and value, again key and value. So this is the considered as a dictionary in the map. So you can take argument. So let us so here, so you have a defining like a, so defining you are going to define a function that's a employee, and employee you can say double strict, and you can say employee okay, employee. Okay, here say just print your employee. Okay, so here you can say let's employee, and here you can pass the key value. So you can say let's name equal to John. Okay, this is the key value you pass. Okay, what is okay? Here should be your name. This is not a value. This is the variable name. Okay, this is the key. Okay, this is the name John, and you passed it. Okay, and maybe you can pass another name. Okay, name equal to Sam. Okay, here say name equal to Anil. Okay, so here you can pass multiple name. Okay, so but this should be name and this should be a last name. This is the first name. This is the last name. Okay, in this way. So this is the first name, last name. In this, you can get the everything value. So whenever you want to multiple key value in asterisk, you can pass any number of key value. Okay. So here, if you just remove this, they are very unhappy because you are not. These are the key value concept. But here you are expecting only value. So here they, whenever you write a function single asterisk, that means this is the tuple. Whenever you pass the double asterisk, that is dictionary. So here you cannot call this way. Okay. So here you can say emp and you can pass anywhere. You can pass 1 comma 2 comma 3, but it works. Okay? It works. It's works because they consider it is a tuple. It is the tuple. Here key value, that means you have to asterisk, that means the key value. Okay, then it's a not work and this work. Okay, this is the asterisk, that means this is the key value. Okay, so in this way you can be carefully choose if you are passing the key value arbitrary argument, that means you have to take the two asterisk. This is the become your a dictionary. If you just pass one argument, two argument, three argument, anywhere, this is become your tuple. A tuple we have to pass single asterisk. You can in a code you can look a function have only one asterisk parameter. That means this the contain the dictionary, means key value you can put the value. But in the single asterisk you can assume this is the tuple. Tuple is mutable, immutable collections. Okay. So this is the kind of your arbitrary arguments. And there is a concept of default parameter name. So let's you can define a function. What happen right here? You are defining my sum, and it will take a one a argument and b argument. Okay, you are going to return a plus b. Okay, print my sum 2 comma 4. So they return 2 comma 4 6. Okay, so what happened, I want user can don't pass this only one argument. So it now it will throw exception. Hey, because sum is expecting two argument, there is no any arbitrary, it will throw exception. But you can say, let's if someone not pass, let's go with the default value 100. If you not pass, you are given the default value to 2. If you pass the four value, they give the 2, and here you can say 2 and default value 100. So for particular input parameter, you have option you can get with the default value. So here you can get default value maybe 0, or you can say default value 100. Okay. So someone can even print my sum and not pass anything. Okay, so this function is the default argument. These parameters can be, if you not pass, they take 100, they return 200. If you pass the actual value 2 4, they replace the value 2 and 4. Okay, so this is the concept of default parameter value. So while defining function, you have an option, you can give the default value, so that if users going to use their function, if they are not passing, you can consider the default value. If you pass, you can take the actual value here. This is known as a default parameter. The following example shows default parameter value. So here you can say country, Norway. So if you pass Sweden, it's print Sweden. India, India. No pass, it still works because the default they go to the Norway. Okay, show passing list as a argument. This is also concept. Let's instead of generally passing the some list or tuple, you can also do here. So here you have a defining my some function, and they are just consider input list. Okay, input list, and here you can just print input list. Okay, so here you can pass like by sum, and here you can create the ls1, and here you can pass the list 1 comma 2 comma 4. Okay, and here you can pass ls1. It still also its work. So you can even pass the list input. Okay, they are not properly code formatted. Okay, so they are. So our function can take input as a list, tuple, set, whatever you want. You cannot have any multiple, only one argument, two argument, or variable. You can even pass the our can take input. Okay, so here you can just say whatever the list you can pass. So you can say even send the list as a argument. Here you can say list. And we can also discuss your function can return value. Then you have to in the return keyword just return and whatever the value you want to use. So your function can return. So your function definition, function name, input parameter, and return keyword. So these are the way you can return the value. We already took an example. And if you are defining the function that cannot any body, you can just use the pass. Okay, pass means this is the function name. Just input. They're not doing anything. Just you can call them, use them. There is nothing will happen. Okay. So here you can just say, as of now, I don't know. I'm just passed it. Okay, just say if you don't do anything, this is very unhappy, but you can say pass and it will happy. They are not doing anything, but your code works properly. So this is the, you are defining a function that the empty body, no body. Okay, this is the concept of positional-only argument. This means you can specify the function that can have a only positional argument or the only keyword argument. So notice we have a concept of the, you can pass any function. This is a function we can pass key and equal to value. Okay, so you have to tell the function, hey, anyone going to call my function, they must pass this key and value concept, or they only pass the value concept. So how to restrict them? Sometime you're going to, as defining the function, you have to ensure that if you want to specify function have a only positional argument, then you can just add this parameter slash ensure that you have to pass. So that's an example. So you have a function definition, and it's my fun, and you are passing the x. Okay, and you're just printing x. Okay, here say my fun, and you pass the 3. Okay, as of now it's okay, no problem. Even you can pass this, even you can pass my function. Let's say x equal to 3. This is also working. So by default, if you're not defining anything, your function can take argument with the actual value or key and value. This is a variable name and key value, both are work. But you want to, that's, I can just add comma and this, and if you run here, very unhappy. They are say this function only take this actual value. Never you can pass key and value like this. The default your function by default allow both way you can call, but sometime you want no, always someone call with only value my function. Then you can specify this syntax. The Python interpreter ensure that no one can go into the pass like a key equal to 3. No. Okay. So this is the one thing, whatever the key you have to pass. So here you cannot pass like this. Okay. Now it will work fine. Okay. So sometime you want to restrict as a function definition. Hey, no one can call my function with a key value concept. Only the value is accepted. This is known as a positional only argument. Only the position, only value you can pass them. You cannot pass the key and value here. Similarly, we have a keyword only. You can say, no, I want to define my function that only pass, let's define my function that key print key. Okay, and if someone going to my function 1 and pass the value 4, okay, it's working. It's let's just say comment them. Okay, it's working fine. Even you can pass this way, or even you can pass key equal to 4. Both works fine because we are not defining any rule. But here say I want this is not allowed. So I can say, okay, let's start with the asterisk and comma. So this key variable, always someone pass with the key and value. So now this is not happy. because you are not provided the position. So here, this is not allowed, and only key and values are allowed. So sometime you want to ensure that my functions only allow positional or only allow the keyword. So here you can say our function, my function one only invoke with the keyword. You must pass the keyword and the value. So this is the concept, the keyword only argument, which always we have to pass this particular key here. Without passing key, you cannot invoke the function. This is the keyword only. Okay, this is the positional only. You can only specify this means only you can pass directly value. You cannot specify key and value. Okay. And even sometime you want to combine them. If you want to combine the positional and by the keyword one, so you can combine the two arguments. Here say, hey, this a and value and specify slash, that means they are only need the value. Here you can only pass the value. And this C and D are the positional. Always pass the key and value. So even you can here combine them. Okay. So just okay. Here you can say I am going to define another function, my fun, let's say 2, and here say let's keep a comma b comma c comma d. We have a 2 argument. Okay. Okay. Just let pass. Okay. And I can call my fun this. Okay. So I have to pass here maybe 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 value. It's work and fine. There is no any problem. Okay. There is a work and just comment out as of now. Comment out. Okay, so here you can say no, this value must be directly passed, but I want this always with a key and value. So you can say asterisk comma. So now these two are very unlike. You cannot pass without this. So you have to pass a C equal to and D equal to. Then it works. Similarly, you want here, if here you can pass A equal to as well as a B equal to as well as, right? It will always work. But here, say, in this case, I want no one can pass the what? This value. So you can say this. Okay. So here you can say you cannot pass this. So you can always pass the value only. So this way will work. So you can combine this key or positional only. So this is the combinations also possible. So these are some basics about your function. So even you want to take more details, you can go with the function documentation and just search function and get the more detail about your function. Just function. Okay. And these are the your function details. Okay. All are the functions detail you can find out, right? And read all of the basics things you can I cover, and if you want to more detail, go to the Python documentation. It will give you the detail. So overall, today we cover how we can write a function and what are the benefits, why we are writing the function, right? Okay. So a basic syntax, your def is the keyword defining your function name and your parameter list and colon and your function body and return if your function want to return the value. Okay, so this is known as your parameter value, parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3. These are the optional maybe, and whenever this is the function definition and how can use the function, you can just call the function and pass actual value, whatever the value you want. So this is the known as your argument. This is known as your Parameter, function name, definition, return, colon is mandatory, manage the write the code. And this functions name would be as clear, as descriptive. Someone can read the function and they can understand what the code you written inside the pod. This will increase the code readability, increase the modularity and maintainability. Okay, so please, whenever someone asks, hey, can you write the program or a soft function that can list me all the prime number or the even number or anything, you can go and write the function. Okay, so let us here you just write a function. Hey, you written a code like uh, written a function like number let's say for loop number in, let's say range, let's you pass 10 10 and you say print n modulo modulo 2 double equal to 0. Okay, and you can just see here. Okay, and you can say run code. So this will, okay, you can say uh, if this, if this, then print n. Okay, okay, you run. So this is the code written something. Okay, okay, this is the code written. So what someone understand, okay, if this code you written, what someone understand. So here instead of writing this code, why not writing the function? So you say here is a you can say define even number, even numbers, and take input n or uh, input num. Okay, and here colon you can say num. Okay, and this code format. Okay, and now here say if you run this code, they're not doing anything because you are defining the function. Now you can say even number of 20. So they are going to give the 20 even numbers. So they say even numbers of the 30, they give the even numbers. So in okay, so here you can say. So now your codes, whatever the code you written, might be someone not understand, but you give the logical name here. So someone say, this is the code for the even number. This is the code for the odd number. So this way, your code maybe you want to even number about 20, 30, 50. This code can be reused many times, and you are giving the code logical name. So whatever this code you written, someone might be not understanding what is this code doing right now. What this code doing? Okay. So you can say no, don't worry, I'm giving the name. This is the even number. You can pass the number, and this will print all the even number between this number, whatever you pass. Okay, so prefer whenever someone asks, hey, write the particular code or software, always prefer write using the function. So that function can be reused, function can avoid duplicate, increase the code readability, lots of benefit. First things, major benefit about the code readability and maintainability. So make always we practice. Anyone write, hey, someone say, can you write the program, then add three numbers. So instead of writing directly in the code, say, hey, so you can directly go and write code this. Okay, so here say, hey, I'm going to take variable a equal to 20, b equal to 30, and c equal to 40, and you can say sum equal to a plus b plus c, and you can say print s. You can write this code, it's work fine, but this is not more readable, not more usable. Someone say, hey, I want to different three number to sum, they are going to change. So instead of writing this way, you can say, okay, this code I am going to written inside a definition, def my sum, okay, sum, and you can say, hey, I can take variable a, b, and c, okay, and I just remove everything here and just see, and you can say definition, this is the, okay. Now someone, there is no code, but someone say, hey, now we have a function, you can call my print function 2 comma 3 comma 4, it will sum it, or my function sum maybe 4 comma 5 comma 6, okay, it will sum it, okay. So here you can say code read, now you have some function, always take input and return the value. So in this way, prefer to write code using the function, and generally this is the practice we have to follow. Okay, so whenever someone asks, hey, you can write some code, write some software, write some, always prefer to write your code in the particular function. Give the function name, whatever the input, whatever the output, you have to decide. So hope this information give you the basic. Always write code in the function. Function, the define function name, input parameter, function body returns, and anyone can go use your function whenever they want. Okay, so that's for the day about the function. You have to do some basic practice to how to write the function, how to use the function, what the different argument, and just do practice. It will give you the some basic uh, level of confidence. Until you are not writing code, you will not get the confidence about the Python programming language. Programming, any programming language, is only you feel confidence when you are going to write the code. Maybe small code, simple code. Let's do practice about the Python function. That's for the day. Thank you.